Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Murder, Mystery and Makeup. So I've covered 3 men previously, so today I was like, let's put a female in there, we don't want to be sexist. So today I'm actually covering the case of Aileen Wuornos. So you have probably heard of her. The film Monster was actually based on her. There's also been loads of documentaries, series, movies that you guys can probably find online to watch about her as well if you want more information and just a bit more insight into her life. What I will say is I think Aileen's story is a very tragic one. Since day one she never really stood a chance, however not condoning anything that she done because it was evil. She had actually killed 7 men within a 12-month time period. She basically tried to say that she killed them all in self-defence while she was servicing them because she actually worked as a sex worker. So she had said that they basically got out of hand and they tried to rape her. So as you guys can probably tell just from my introduction, it's a very heavy case. There's going to be talkings of rape, abuse, gun violence, all of that. So if that's something that you're not comfortable listening to, I completely understand. You can click off here and join us next week for another case. If you like true crime, then I highly suggest that you subscribe down below. I'm here every Tuesday with a new murder, mystery and makeup. It would honestly mean the world to me. Also, please leave a like and comment below. Request who it is that you want me to cover in next week's episode. Also, give me a wee follow on social media. I'll pop my Instagram up on screen now. I post there nearly every single day, and when new videos go live, I do also put it in my stories and my highlights. So definitely give me a wee follow there. Let me know that you've came from YouTube and I'll give you a wee follow back. So without any further ado, let's get into the case of Aileen Wuornos.
Warning: the following video is intended for mature audiences only. This video contains graphic descriptions of crime scenes, adult language and adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Right, so June the 3rd, 1954, Aileen's American mother, well it says like Finnish American, I don't know how you say that though, I'm just gonna go American. But her mother was basically the age of 14 when she married Aileen's 16-year-old father named Leo Dale Pittman. Aileen's older brother Keith was actually born March the 14th, 1955. So with less than 2 years of marriage, Diane and Leo actually filed for divorce. Now this was only 2 months before Aileen was born. Aileen had actually never met her father because he was actually incarcerated at the time that she was born. He was actually diagnosed schizophrenic and then he was later charged of sexual crimes against children. So kind of lucky she never met him, let's be honest. So Leo actually hung himself in prison and died on January the 30th, 1969. So in January 1960, Aileen was almost 4 and her mother Diane basically abandoned the children. So Diane left Aileen and Keith with their grandparents Laurie and Britta. Don't know if I'm saying their names right, probably not, let's be honest. Now the grandparents were actually both alcoholics. What kind of chance does a child stand when they just have such a terrible upbringing and it only gets worse? Now the grandparents both actually formally adopted Aileen and Keith, and this happened on March the 18th, 1960. I feel like I literally look like a chicken nugget, I don't know why. So at the age of 11, Aileen had actually began dabbling in sexual activities. She was engaging in sexual activities at school, outside of school, and this was only at the age of 11. How is an 11-year-old exposed to that? How does an 11-year-old have this kind of knowledge of sex? It makes no sense. But she was basically swapping sexual favours to get food, money, drugs, aged 11. And Aileen actually said that both her and her brother engaged in sexual activities with each other. I know she never had much of an upbringing, but it's surely you'd know that's wrong. So Aileen had said that our grandparents both would actually beat her and Keith. However, her grandfather would actually sexually assault Aileen, which is just awful. And he would actually sit and invite his friends around to engage in the same activities with Aileen as well. Now in 1970, Aileen sadly became pregnant at the age of 14, and I say sadly because the reason she had became pregnant was from one of our granddad's friends. Absolute freak. So Aileen had gave birth to a baby boy at a home for unwed mothers. After giving birth, the child was actually immediately placed for adoption. So after her son was born, Aileen actually just dropped out of school at the young age of 15, which is such a shame. Like, I just feel like from day one, she just never stood a chance, you know? So her grandmother actually died of liver failure, and shortly after that her grandfather actually chucked her out the house and was like, get out, don't come back. So she ended up living in the woods, like kind of near the home. In the woods, like, come on. And at that age, Aileen then began having to try and make a living for herself by being a prostitute, sex worker, whatever you want to call it. So May the 27th in 1974, at the age of 18, Aileen was actually arrested for a DUI, which is driving under influence, disorderly conduct, and also firing a .22 caliber pistol. Aileen was actually firing this pistol in a moving vehicle, and I was kind of wondering, like, was a DUI in the same sort of scenario? Was it like all in one charge? I'm not too sure. After that, Aileen was later charged with failure to appear in court. In 1976, she ended up hitchhiking to Florida, and she met a 69-year-old yacht club president, and this man's name was Louis Gratzfeld. Now, they actually married really fast, and an announcement was actually put in the paper, I guess, because he must have been like quite a big deal, I think. However, Aileen was still getting into fights at like the local bars, just getting into arguments and brawls, and still being charged for criminal activity as well. Which I'm guessing, like, a man like Phil probably wouldn't want to be around somebody like that. Just because he almost has like this reputation to uphold, and she's just kind of bringing it down. So she briefly went to prison for assault, and she actually hit Phil with his own cane. Like, just lashed out, went mental at him, and then he ended up having to file a restraining order against her, and this was literally weeks after they got married. So July the 14th, 1976, Aileen ended up returning to Michigan. She was then arrested in Antrim County, and she was actually charged with assault and disturbing the peace. So July the 17th, her brother Keith had actually died from esophageal cancer. Now obviously, I mean, I'm guessing she was kind of upset, but more so Aileen was happy because Keith had left her $10,000 from his life insurance. Now honestly, upon receiving this, Aileen was absolutely buzzing. Like, she said that she had used the money to pay off fines and also to buy herself like a new like car, and just spending the money on like luxuries for herself. Now £10,000, you think that would stretch? You think, oh, put it in a wee savings account, get some interest on that. Nah. She had £10,000 spent in less than 2 months. Which, like, I mean, I guess it's possible to spend that amount. I could probably spend that on PLT in a day if someone gave me 10 grand, but when you've been left this money and with the way her life's been, I mean, surely that's a great opportunity to like start over. No? I would have thought so. And also, I should mention that the new car she bought, she wrecked like very shortly after as well. So I mean, what was the point? 10 grand down the drain because she can't look after it. So May the 20th, 1981, Aileen was then arrested in Edgewater, Florida. Now she was arrested because she committed armed robbery. Because she committed armed robbery in a convenience store. So she was actually then sent to prison on May the 4th, 1982, and then she was released in 1983. I honestly just feel that like Aileen is just never learning. However, it was said that like sometimes she would try get in trouble and try get arrested because then at least she'd have somewhere to live, like, well, sleep, like in the prison, and she'd also have like food and water. And I guess in her mind, prison was like a better way of living in comparison to how she was living now. So May the 1st, 1984, Aileen was then again arrested for trying to pass forged cheques. Not great. Then November the 30th, 1985, she actually became a suspect in the theft of a revolver and ammunition in Pasco County. So I feel like a part that a lot of people know about the story is obviously about Aileen's girlfriend. So she met Tyra Moore, who at the time was a hotel maid at Daytona Beach Lesbian Club. So they actually moved in together pretty fast, and it was actually Aileen who was basically supporting the both of them from her sex work. So from the money that she was earning from prostitution. So July the 4th, 1987, so Daytona Beach police had actually detained both Wuornos and Moore. They were both actually accused of assault and battery with a beer bottle. Now, up until Aileen's execution, she actually said that she had always been in love with Tyra Moore, which is quite interesting once we get into the story about how she was still in love with her. So now I'm going to chat a bit more about the murders that Aileen had committed. So she basically killed 7 men within a 12-month period. I don't know why I'm like sitting side on. So what I will say, just to start off, there wasn't a whole lot of information on the victims. They basically named the victims and say what their wounds were, but I couldn't really find much backstory. So I'm just going to get into it. Rachel Charles Mallory, aged 51, was actually a convicted rapist who Aileen said that she had to kill in self-defence, like saying that he had basically raped her, so she had no option but to kill him. So she actually claimed that she was sodomised by him and also brutally attacked. 2 days later, his body was actually found just outside a wooded area. Now, when his body was found, I had actually seen that he had been shot several times. So next we have David Andrew Spears. He was only 47. Now, he was actually declared missing on May the 19th, 1990. And it was June the 1st when his body was actually found along Route 19 in Florida. So when they examined his body, they saw that he had actually been shot 6 times with a 2.2 pistol. Couldn't get out there, 2.2. So next up we have Charles Edmund Kerskaden. Now, if I'm saying that second name wrong, which, let's be honest, that is most likely, then I really do apologise. I'm honestly terrible with names, but anyway, back into the story. So he was actually just 40 years old, and on June the 6th his body was found in Pasco County, and they actually discovered that he had been shot 9 times. Now, what made his death a bit stranger was when he was found, he was actually wrapped up in an electricity blanket, and they also said that his body was really badly decomposing when they found him. Now, witnesses say that they actually saw Aileen driving his car, and she had also pawned a gun that was later identified to be that of Charles's. Then we have Peter Abraham Seams, aged 65. So on July the 4th, 1990, his car was actually found in Orange Springs. Now, both Tyra and Aileen were actually seen abandoning this car. So witnesses saw this. Those witnesses were actually able to give the names of Tyra and Aileen and also their description as well. So this started like a media campaign to find them. So upon examining his car, they actually found Aileen's palm print on the interior door handle. Now, because she had like previous convictions, like her prints were on file, so they were able to distinguish that it was her. And sadly, that man's body was never actually found. I always feel bad when like bodies aren't found, because I feel like the family doesn't have much chance at like proper closure. So yeah, that's such a shame. Now we have Tori Eugene Beres, aged 50. So on the 31st of July, he was actually reported missing. Then August the 4th, his body was found. And it had been found in a wooded area, and he had sadly been shot twice as well. So next there's Charles Richard Humphreys. His age was 56, and he was actually a previous child abuse investigator and also a previous chief of police. So like she's taking some risks here. So September the 12th, 1990, his body was actually then found in Marion County. So Charles had actually been shot 6 times, both in the head and the torso. So then we have Walter Gino Antonio, and his age was 62. So November the 19th, 1990, his nearly naked body was found. And it was actually found near a remote logging road in Dixie County. So he was actually shot 4 times, and then 5 days later his car was then found in Brevard County. So like I had said to you guys earlier, once both Tyra and Aileen had abandoned Seamsy's car, there was obviously a media campaign that was put out to try and locate them, and they had found items in pawn shops that had actually belonged to the victims holding Aileen's prints on them. So January 9th, 1991, Wuornos was actually arrested for an outstanding warrant. Thank God. Now the police were also able to locate Tyra, who said that she would actually elicit a statement from Aileen as long as she had immunity from the prosecution. So Tyra had basically said to Aileen, like, you know, I need help to clear my name, I wasn't involved in these murders, like, you're gonna have to speak up. And then 3 days later, Aileen had actually confessed to these murders, but she had said that every single murder that she committed was in self-defence because these men all tried to rape her or did rape her. So a year later, Aileen actually went to trial for the murder of Mallory. So the prosecution was actually allowed to introduce evidence that linked her to other crimes just to show her sort of like pattern of criminal activity. So January the 27th, Aileen was actually convicted of the murder of Mallory, and this was actually from the help of her girlfriend Tyra. Her statement that she had made against her and testified in court actually helped clear up the fact that she had murdered Mallory. Now, obviously because Aileen loved her so much, like she was devastated that Tyra would even like rat her out like that. Like she thought like they were in love and like they wouldn't do that to each other, but you know. So psychiatrists actually testified for defence by saying that Aileen was mentally unstable, she was unwell, she had BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, and that she also had antisocial personality disorder as well. 4 days later, she was actually sentenced to death. So March the 31st, Aileen had actually pleaded no contest to the murders of Humphreys, Bress and Spears, saying that she actually wanted to get good with God. So Aileen gave a statement in court basically saying that Mallory had violently raped her, but the others did not, however they began to. Then on May the 15th, Aileen was served with another 3 death sentences. So in June, she then pleaded guilty to the murder of Carskadden, and then in November received her 5th death sentence. Then February 1993, she also pleaded guilty to the murder of Antonio, and obviously again was then served with her 6th death sentence. So throughout the trial, Aileen's stories were really inconsistent. So initially she had said that all 7 men raped her or really tried to rape her, and then obviously she said that Mallory had violently raped her but the rest did not, they only began to rape her. However, she then confessed that it was kind of like a robbery gone wrong. She basically wanted to rob these men and then realised that she had witnesses and she wanted no witnesses, so the best way to get rid of a witness, kill them. In her eyes, not mine. Aileen actually later said to a filmmaker that all her acts were actually in self-defence, but the reason she had basically pleaded guilty and said that they weren't was because she hated death row. She just wanted to die. At this point she had been on it for 10 years and she was like, I am sick of it, just kill me. So Aileen was incarcerated at Florida Department of Corrections, Broward Correctional Institution. Wow, I really stuttered there. She was then transferred to Florida State Prison for her actual execution. Now, I've actually wrote down a quote that I want to read to you guys, and this is what Aileen said about herself. I killed those men, robbed them as cold as ice, and I'd do it again too. There's no chance in keeping me alive or anything because I'd kill again. I have hate crawling through my system. I am so sick of hearing this she's crazy stuff. I've been evaluated so many times. I'm competent, sane, and I'm trying to tell the truth. I'm one who seriously hates human life and would kill again. So, yeah. I think at this point, she just, wanted to die. Wow. Oh my, wow. But yeah, I think at this point she was just sick and tired. She was like, I just want to die now. I've done what I've done, and if I don't die, I'm going to kill again. So do it, bitch. So Aileen Wuornos was actually executed on October the 9th of 2002, and she died at 9:47 a.m. Now, Aileen actually declined her last meal, which I think you can get up to like $20 worth of your last meal, but she declined it and she actually opted for a cup of coffee instead. And now I have to say, like, I'd probably do the same. I love coffee. But yeah. Now, this probably sounds like so grim, but I honestly love hearing serial killers' last words. So Aileen, I was able to find hers, so I'm going to read that to you guys as well. So Aileen said, yes, I would just like to say I'm sailing with the rock and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus. June the 6th, like the movie. Big mothership and all. I'll be back. I'll be back. Now, for me personally, when I hear I'll be back, I think Terminator. I'll be back. Never sounded like him, but you know what I mean. So Aileen Wuornos was actually the 10th woman to be executed in the United States, and she was also the second to be executed from Florida. And this was actually since 1976, where the United States Supreme Court actually decided to restore the death penalty. So guys, that was a case of Aileen Wuornos. I really hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something new. Obviously it's a case that happened not too long ago, I guess you could say, like from her execution. I honestly find this to be a really tragic story. I just think obviously her upbringing, and I'm not making excuses, but what chance does anybody stand when that's their upbringing? And almost being abandoned by males her whole life. But obviously what she did was wrong and she should absolutely be spending life in prison. Execution though, like, you know, with the likes of Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy and everybody else, I'm totally like, yep, sentence them to death, whatever, get them away. But with her, like, she had so many illnesses and a really bad upbringing and absolutely life in prison because what she done was terrible. But I don't know, like, could they try to help her, turn her into at least a better person even if she is in prison? Like, Edgeen, he went to like the prison for the criminally insane. He was not sentenced to death, but what he done was terrible and disgusting and evil. So did she, but yet he gets help and she never. I don't know, I really want to know you guys' opinions down below. Like, what do you think should have happened? Do you agree with her getting the death penalty? Do you think that they should try to help change her into a better person, get her the help that she needed? What do you guys think? Or do you just think it was beyond repair, like she was just evil to the core? Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Tell your friends and family to subscribe as well if you think they'll enjoy the videos. Don't forget to request down below what it is that you want me to cover next week on next week's Murder, Mystery and Makeup. I love you guys so much, and until next week, I'll see you guys later. Bye!